You're watching To The Point and I'm Anjana. Om Kashyap, Indian Prime Minister's path-breaking Israel visit. Tremendous welcome to the Prime Minister from his friend Netanyahu. But amidst all this, amazing moments in Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Israel trip. Message is loud and clear. And the message is that both the countries have resolved to fight the war against terror together with new technology and moving ahead with big defense deals. What exactly does this Israel visit of the Prime Minister mean for India? What do we stand to gain from this? I'm joined by Commodore retired G.J. Singh, defense analyst from Bengaluru, retired Major General G.D. Bakshi, defense expert from Gurugram, Sanjay Jha, spokesperson of the Congress Party, and from Mumbai we have Sanju Verma, spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. I want to come to you first, Major General G.D. Bakshi. From the Holocaust Museum to meeting Moshe, the message is loud and clear, and that message is that India and Israel are going to join hands in this fight against terror. What do you see as the biggest gain, the biggest takeaway, apart from the personal chord that we see struck between the two prime ministers?
You know, this visit is symbolic.
Yes.
In many ways. This is the first visit by an Indian Prime Minister, and it has come on the eve of the 25th anniversary of the establishment of our diplomatic relations. So to that extent, it sends a clear message, and the chemistry is heartwarming. It's heartwarming, not just between the two leaders. You know, that is so between the two people, the people of India, the people of Israel. In fact, I have many Israeli friends who come here and who tell me the only country where they feel safe and at home is in India. And I think that is where is the biggest motive force for our relationships. In concrete terms, Anjana, very few other countries have helped us as much as Israel has. In the 62 war, in the 65 war, in the 1971 war, in the Kargil war, you know, they pulled out all stops. They gave us ammunition. They gave us the targeting pods for our aircraft. They came and fixed them while the war was on, so that we could use, those munitions in the actual live fighting. The Israelis have given you your airborne warning control aircraft, AWACS, which is the most sophisticated platform for your air defense purposes.
Yes.
You know, they have given you the pine wood radars, which helps your anti-ballistic missile batteries. All your 176 UAVs, they are all from Israel. And now you are going to get from Israel in this trip 10 armed
drones,
Heron UAVs with a loiter time of 36 hours, payload capacity of 1,000 kilograms.
Yes,
this
sir.
is as good as the Predator drones with which America has been striking the terrorists in Afghanistan, in Pakistan. Now we can hit the likes of Hafiz Saeed. We can hit, your Sayyid Salahuddin and Dawood Ibrahim and
yes,
all these dons. They cannot hide in Pakistan. India will now has the capacity to go and hit them in their hideouts in Pakistan, wherever they are hiding, which is a great step forward. They are giving us the Spike anti-tank guided missiles. You know, you name it. These people have helped us to upgun our T-54, T-55s in the past, upgun our 130mm medium guns. They have given us the Barak 8 missiles, long-range surface-to-air missiles, medium-range surface-to-air missiles, Spider
yes,
quick reaction surface-to-air missiles. They have given us cutting-edge technology which even America is not prepared to give. The Americans have shied away from giving us armed drones. The Israelis have given it to us. The Americans were not willing to give you AWACS. The Israelis gave it to us. So like
absolutely.
Russia, they are a tried
and many of their techniques and their equipments are considered even better than the American technology.
Back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I just want to go on to the other panelists that I have with me. But before I go to you, Sanju Verma, I want to go to Sanjay Jha once. Mr. Jha, now India has always been seen as a country. We know that you started full consular relations. It was always the Congress government then, in fact, recognizing Israel as a country was all done by your governments. My question to you is that you always kept this relationship with Israel under wraps, and that was because you blew up a wariness of Arab countries. What will the Arab countries say, do, think? What will Iran see, think, do on this? Palestine, vote bank considerations back home. But the Prime Minister has gone beyond all this and said, my relations with Palestine are as they are. He welcomed the President of Palestine in May. He decided that he is going to do a full-fledged, first-time Indian Prime Minister visit to Israel. He does this. Do you also see that this as a masterstroke, as many others are in seeing it as in foreign relations?
Anjana, let me first tell you that diplomatic relationships are always an evolving process. It's not just abruptly one president or head of state or a prime minister can indulge in, sudden and dramatic change in equations between two countries. As you rightly mentioned.
Sir, how many decades to evolve?
Just give me a second.
Sir, but how many decades to evolve?
Just give me a second, Anjana.
For one prime minister to go and visit.
General Bakshi, please give me some uninterrupted time. I want to be... Anjana, I'll appreciate if I am not interrupted. Okay. As you correctly mentioned, India was amongst the first few countries in the world when Pandit Nehru was a prime minister to recognize the state of Israel. Prime Minister Narasimha Rao, a Congress prime minister, in 1992 established full diplomatic equations with Israel. Now let me tell you where you are wrong. When you mention things like domestic vote bank, well, let me tell you, that was the period, if you look back at the late 1980s to early 1990s, when the BJP under Lal Krishna Advani was playing the most, what I call as dangerous communal politics of the Ram Mandir in India and polarizing this country. If there was domestic vote bank politics, how would Mr. Narasimha Rao have established full diplomatic relationship with Israel? So that is an absolutely atrocious foundation which the BJP always alleges. But let me make one critical point, Anjana, and then I'm willing to listen to any question you may have to ask. The fundamental point here is that the Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, has agreed with all the previous governments, including Mr. Vajpayee's government, that Palestine-Israel issue needs a two-state solution, which means there must be a Palestinian state and an Israeli state coexisting together.
Yeah.
The reason why the Congress party has actually expressed its disappointment is since the Indian Prime Minister is the first one to go to Tel Aviv, and he agrees to a Palestinian state. It's not that Mr. Modi is changing that policy. So then if you're in Tel Aviv, you take a 6.5-hour flight, it is a first-time visit. Why didn't he go ahead and meet Mr. Mahmoud Abbas, who is the president of the Palestinian Authority?
Answer that, Sanjay.
I mean, that is a question that I think begs an answer from the BJP. Because at one point, you're taking a political posture that Palestine and Israel are two states that need to happen. On the second hand, he refuses to make a visit saying, well, I want to dehyphenate
Okay, you've made your point, Sanjay Jha. Let Sanju Verma respond.
Is, would his visiting West Bank have changed the equation with the Israelis? That's my question. If he went to West Bank and met Mr. Abbas, would that change the dynamics?
You framed it thrice.
Not
Let's listen to the answer.
There's a contradiction there.
You've reframed it thrice. Let's listen to the answer. Sanju Verma, go ahead.
And now, Anjana, you were gracious enough to give Sanjay Jha not 2 minutes but 3 whole minutes. I was looking at my watch, and I hope now he has the courtesy to be a bit patient and listen to what I have to say. Mr. Jha is absolutely right when he says that diplomacy and foreign policy are continuously evolving in terms of processes and people and what have you. Where he goes absolutely wrong is the fact that despite Chimanbhai Patel, the first Congress Chief Minister to visit Israel in 1991, and despite the fact that diplomatic relations were established with Israel by the Indian dispensation in 1992, 25 years plus after diplomatic relations were established, not once did any Indian Prime Minister, particularly the Congress which has ruled us for more than 60 years in post-independent India's 70-year history, they did not deem it fit to visit Israel. So much for Mr. Jha's lectures on diplomacy. Point number 2, the Congress and its coterie keeps talking about the Palestinian cause. I want to ask Mr. Jha, for all of of the crocodile tears being shed by Rahul Gandhi? Why did Sonia Gandhi not attend the funeral of Yasser Arafat in 2004? More so when Yasser Arafat and Indira Gandhi at one point in time were Rakhi's bhai behan, so to speak. I'm using the colloquial term which was used by Yasser Arafat way back then when Mrs. Indira Gandhi was alive in the 80s. Point number 3. In 2011, it was the Congress dispensation
just a minute,
which promised. No, I will first complete, Anjana. Let me complete.
Go ahead.
It was in 2011-12. It was in 2011-12 that the Congress dispensation promised $10 million to Palestine. And do you know what happened? They only disbursed $3 million despite having ample time till May 2014 when they were thrown out. It was the BJP-led NDA government under Narendra Modi which not only fulfilled the Congress's past commitment, released the balance $7 million, but built a university, a hospital, a school and a college in Palestine. The Modi government believes in walking the talk.
Okay.
Mr. Modi does what he does.
Okay.
He does not have to listen to advice from people who fail to visit Israel.
Okay.
Once, not even once in 70 long years.
Sanjay Jha, that was precisely my question. Absolutely. Sanju Verma, just a minute, Sanju Verma, we'll come to you. Sanjay Jha, that was precisely the question. Before I go to GJ Singh, I want a quick response from you. Now, policy paralysis was a problem of your government, but did it even extend to foreign policy? I question this because in spite of the fact that you had good intentions maybe, and there was a lot of things that was happening under wraps, and we were taking help from Israel, you were never ready to, not even a single prime minister visited in these many years. That's exactly what Benjamin Netanyahu said. What stopped them? Give me a specific answer to this. What stopped a single prime minister also from visiting Israel? Answer this question.
Let me answer you very quickly. Look at the tangible difference that happened in terms of the quality of the relationship. The biggest defense pact was signed when Dr. Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister.
What stopped
India's
the Prime Minister's
by the way, General Vikram Singh went in early 2014 to Israel. And in fact the defense strategic partnership
I know, Sanjay Jha, you will accuse me of interrupting,
rightly pointed
but
out,
in spite
look
of that
at how
I will
flexible,
do it.
Just one second, Anjana. Look at how flexible the Congress leadership has been. Just 1 minute, Anjana. Anjana, just give me a second.
I heard you.
Anjana,
I know where we are going. I know where we are going with this. I have a specific question, sir. I have a specific question. Please do not evade it the third time.
I'm appalled at how you are interrupting me when I haven't even finished my statement.
No, beyond that, I am appalled by the fact that...
Let me answer your question.
No, I am appalled by the fact that I made 3 attempts to get a single answer from you and you're evading my question every single time. So I am also very appalled, but beyond all this, my question to you is, what stopped any Indian Prime Minister from ever visiting Israel?
In 1992,
we know that.
In 1992, India's trade volume with Israel was $200 million. In 2011 itself, it had reached up to $5.5 billion. And since Mr. Modi has become Prime Minister, that number hasn't changed significantly. And let me make the larger point here. And let's try and understand that even when the Congress party and the governments of India had not recognized Israel, had not had a diplomatic relationship with Israel, Pandit Nehru sought the help of Israel during the wars with China and Pakistan.
You have no answer to my question.
That shows you the pragmatic
so you will keep telling me
and the
about
political
what
maturity of the
was
Congress
done.
party. We are not into photo ops. We are not into synthetic symbolism. Please understand. Unlike the BJP, the Congress is not in historic ventures. We are not into cosmetic symbolism like the BJP.
Let's take this to GJ Singh. Just a minute. No, ma'am. Let me take this to GJ Singh. Are all these moments that we see on our television screen right now, a lot of jappis happening, Moshe meeting, Moshe, the 2-year-old who lost his parents in 26/11 Mumbai attack, reaching out to him. Does all this just come across as symbolism? Should the country look at this as only symbolism? Look at these pictures. They say a lot. They say that these two countries want to come together and fight against terror. 26/11. And if that is a symbol, then Moshe becomes big and a very emotional moment for India. Is this just symbolism, GJ Singh?
No, it is not just symbolism. It goes far beyond this. It shows that the two countries, the two, people of this country, they are closer now. Prime Minister, commenting on the flip side of not having any Prime Minister visiting Israel before, if you look at the positive side of it, it is the credit which has elevated the image of Prime Minister Modi far above the level of mediocrity, because the kind of reception that he has received at the Tel Aviv airport, it shows that there was no Prime Minister previous to that who visited. It is this particular factor which elevates him. Not only that, the cutting edge in the reception was that he had been put on the pedestal to the reception which generally accorded to the President of the United States and to the Pope. And the very fact that at the reception, apart from the red carpet, the lining up of the heads of the Catholics, the head of the Armenian Church, the head of the Greek Orthodox, the Ashkenaz Jews, the Baghdadi Jews, and the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem. You see, lining them up and giving them an introduction was something which has never been seen before, other than Pope and the President of the United States. This is something which, sets apart this reception. So absolutely. I must say that goes far beyond the symbolism. Not only that, the number of agreements that have been, signed. We have seen now that from space to cyber to, cutting-edge military technology, the drones to defense sector, to the innovation, Make in India concept being promoted by Israel. If you look at this overall, I think this has been a huge step forward towards building up great relation between the two countries.
Absolutely.
And not only that, we are also historically linked. Yeah. And I have been saying earlier that we have the connection with the Israelis right from the ancient times, the ancient world of King Solomon, when there were trade relations between Israel. That time Israel was the only country, in fact.
Most experts think it's a milestone. Most experts think it's a milestone. History is being created between India and Israel, and our relationship will actually help us in the war against terror. We have to slip into a quick break, but when I come back, General Bakshi, my question to you will be, when will we at least see our foreign policy beyond BJP versus Congress? When will it be just about the country and how to move forward? India and Israel to fight terror together. The biggest challenge for both the countries. And here on, General Bakshi, we see a big fight between the BJP and the Congress. We did this, we did that. But beyond that, what do we gain as a country is what should be crucial and upfront.
You know, Anjana, the simple fact is that in all mature democracies, there is a bipartisan consensus on issues of national security. The foreign policy of modern nations is conducted on the basis of realism. A realist approach to foreign policy means that primacy must be given to core national security interests. You know, how much do we lean on the Palestine and on the Arab states, and how much do we lean on Israel, has to be decided by empirical considerations of what are they doing for us.
Yes.
The Arab countries have not even supported us on the issue of Kashmir. What help have they given to us in the Indo-Pakistan war, apart from sending some jet fighters to Pakistan and other arms and equipment to Pakistan? And yet we are supposed to give primacy to them, vis-a-vis our relations with Israel. It is that which is surprising. And for what? For the purposes of, petty vote bank politics of winning an election and coming back to power. I mean, and I'm sure you won't. Even our Muslim brethren will say no to you because they know. I mean, who is really our true friend? Who is helping this country? Here are the Israelis who are prepared to give you cutting-edge military technology, cutting-edge military technology, which the Americans are not prepared to give you. They are prepared to join you in Make in India. You know, there are Israeli firms now manufacturing, who are starting to manufacture the Galil rifle, the Trevor assault rifle, the Negev machine gun. You know, they are going to manufacture in India UAVs, drones, air-to-air missiles. They are manufacturing the propellants for your anti-tank and your anti-aircraft missiles, your Akash missiles and the others. I mean, they have gone the extra mile to help you. Why must we spurn them? And for what? To reach out to countries. Let me tell you, the Arab countries themselves have all individually struck deals with Israel. You know, they have recognized Israel. Why should India be expected to be more loyal than the king? The Arab countries are friendly with Israel now,
yes,
or they have at least started normal relations.
Yeah.
India must oppose them for the sake of some principles that we enunciated in 1950s. I think those principles are now passé, because the world has moved on. The world has moved on, and primacy must be given to India's national interest. We cannot conduct
nothing above national interest. Nothing above national interest. And that is why, Sanju Verma, I want you to respond, because Sanjay Jha says that we don't believe in symbolism, and that is why no Prime Minister visited Israel before. The relations were there, the deals were happening, we were moving forward in business.
I didn't say that. I made a more fundamental point.
Anjana,
give me a chance.
I'll come to Mr. Jha.
Can you please, ask Mr. Jha?
Okay.
Mr. Jha, please hold your horses. You will get your turn. Please hold your horses, Mr. Jha. You will get your turn. Anjana, I want to make one or two very quick points endorsing what General G.D. Bakshi said. You know, let me repeat ad nauseum that today, you know, the world has stopped looking at foreign policy only through the prism of an Arab-Israeli conflict. And I think the biggest thumbs up to Mr. Modi is the fact that not a single Arab nation protested, you know, despite knowing the fact that he had an upcoming visit to Tel Aviv. Please remember that the hallmark of Modi's foreign policy, or the Modi doctrine as most people call it, is the fact that he manages to, you know, bring together and marry conflicting interests. So please understand, we have a relationship between, China in terms of running a $60 billion trade deficit with them, despite having border issues with them. Despite that, we have sister agreements between Gujarat and Guangdong, between Hyderabad and Brisbane. We may have issues with Pakistan, but commercial interests and foreign policy, sometimes they need to be mutually exclusive. And more importantly, peace, dialogue and restraint. These are the three terms which the Prime Minister used, you know, just a few hours back while giving that famous address. I think this is the hallmark of his policy.
Please conclude.
Marrying conflicting interests, peace, dialogue and restraint. And the Congress is suffering from persecution complex and the cry-baby syndrome. They need to decide, are they happy with the fact that, you know, Prime Minister Modi has made that visit to Israel, or are they whining about it? They were whining about GST, they were whining about Aadhaar. Oh, we thought about GST.
This is becoming very interesting.
Hello.
This is becoming really interesting. Sanju Verma, we're running out of time. You've made some amazing points. Just a minute, ma'am. Just a minute, ma'am.
Give me a chance.
Just a minute. Let Mr. Jha respond to your crybaby syndrome. The whining that you've talked about, Mr. Jha, a quick response to that. And also, if sometime down the line there is a Congress government in power, won't your Prime Minister go and visit Israel? Won't we continue the foreign policy? Just a minute, ma'am. A quick response, Mr. Jha. We're running out of time.
No, Anjana, I want to tell you.
Yeah, Anjana, a quick response. Number one, I don't know about crybaby, but the BJP is definitely behaving like a spoiled child. The BJP is behaving like a spoiled child. Please don't interrupt.
Fresh visuals coming in.
Please keep quiet when I speak. I did not interrupt you. Please do not speak when I speak, because I did not interrupt you.
I'm afraid technology is today favoring Sanju Verma. There's some problem, Mr. Jha, with your connection, because your voice is not clear. I'm afraid we'll have to end it here. Thank you, all of you, for joining me in this debate. Interesting now, Congress party saying yes, Israel, but why no Philistine? On the other hand, no Palestine. But on the other hand, Sanju Verma says it's a huge accomplishment. First ever Indian Prime Minister visits, and should be seen as such. Keep watching India Today.